Well, I've been trying to do this video for a couple of days, but the light's been shithouse. It's very dirty, as you can see, this car. It's a Series 2, as you can see by this badge. 1996 VS Acclaim. For some reason it's got two different tail lights. One of them's a VS tail light, the other one's a VR tail light, I think. I think this is right. I'm pretty sure that that's a VR tail light, so both the tail lights are shithouse because the reflectors are all sad. But it's in pretty good nick. It's very dirty and yeah, the lawn basically just turned to mush as soon as I drove the car over it, so it's really, really severely, yeah, it's got a couple of scratches here and there. Not sure if they go through the colour or not. Yeah, it's very hard to tell. Yeah, they're either clear coat scratches or I think they're mostly in the clear actually, but I can get touch-up pens anyway, which should work alright. It needs a good wash. It hasn't been washed for months apparently. It's actually got no chips in the front end, believe it or not. It's actually pretty good. Like, you know, it's dirty, it's got bugs all over it, but there's no chips in it. So, plus it's got the bumper mouldings front and rear, which they never do for some reason. I have the opinion it's been in a garage or under a carport because these cars have a deadlock feature. That's what I was just disarming. Yeah, the headline is dirty. Like, certainly, I don't know why or how, what the hell happened to it. It's got something black on it. Probably just sponge off, but it's hasn't fallen down. It's one of the only Commodores I've ever seen in my life where the headline is still up. It doesn't sit on your head. I'm probably going to be looking for an interior for this car. I mean, the door trims are sort of, yeah, they're dirty and worn out and stuff, but I might look at getting a Calais or Statesman interior for this because they're really worth bugger all these days. $200 you'd get a really good velour interior and stuff like that, and the carpet, well, $200 to get your new carpet. So if I'm going to put this on the road, it has to be better than the other car, so there's no point putting another car on the road the same as the one I've already got, but no better. There's obviously been shit dragged on the roof, which is a bit sad, but you can't really do much about that, can you? I paid $100 for this car, and the main reason why is it's got a suspected head gasket problem. Homer Simpson's cut the back parcel shelf up, more specifically speaker brackets that are spot welded. There's two spot welds each end, and it's a bit hard to explain, but yeah, I'll have to get rid of the brackets and actually get some more brackets spot welded in because it looks shit house the way it is. It's had a little bit of money spent on it. You know, it's had a new tensioner pulley there and stuff like that. The bearing in this one's absolutely shot, which you're not going to see it move. Anyway, it does move slightly. The bearings are shot. It's got inox on it, so I quieten it down a lot. It hasn't been cleaned or anything like that, so the radiator's completely destroyed. You can see the core's just rotten as shit. It's had oil changes and stuff regularly, but I think half the problem with this engine is it's got a vacuum leak because the vacuum's low and it just idles really high. So I'm expecting to find a leak somewhere, you know, in this section. But this cap takes the cake. It flew apart when I went to check the coolant after I drove it. Okay, the car had been driven, you know, from 10 k's up the road, and yeah, it was hot, but it had no pressure at all. I did check that. But the cap's just fucked. I've never seen one that's so destroyed. You can just see that the cap's a really, really old cap. Like, here's the rest of it. And you can see that the seal's just, I don't know, it's just ruined. The seal's just flat and hard, and I've never seen a cap fly to bits like that. It's a shame they don't have manufacturing dates stamped on these caps, but you can bet this cap's at least 15 years old by the look of it. For some reason, mechanics don't change radiator caps unless they have to change coolant, and some coolant lasts for 10 years. So the cap should be changed every 12 months. I keep saying it. Everyone keeps saying they've heard me say it, but yeah, if you want to destroy your engine, just run the cap for 10 years. And you can bet the thermostat hasn't been changed in that time either. It's definitely been leaking, as you can see. And the radiator hose down here, the bottom radiator hose obviously leaks too, because look at the compressor, it's got all shit on it. But anyway, the car runs a bit strangely. I'm not sure why exactly. It could have a ignition module which is under here that's destroyed. I have no idea. The engine's mechanically quiet, it's got no noise of any kind, and I don't think it's been overheated, because I've had a spark plug out and the spark plug was a happy sort of normal colour, but the gaps on all the plugs are like 3-4 mil, like they're really big gaps. Like, I think they're probably 3-3.5 mil, which is double what they should be. Let's fire it up and... oh, the key's not in the ignition, it's in my pocket, that's handy. You can sort of hear it just doesn't run well. Also, I'd say it's had an alternator, because the alternator's a Delphi one. Well, I'm pretty sure these ran all Bosch alternators. And the actual alternator itself looks like it's new. It doesn't look like an old one. Normally these alternators, they just get regulated, but someone put a new alternator on it for some reason. And to me it sounds like it's got a vacuum leak, I'm not really sure. I'd say that's half the reason it's running like shit. It's probably running lean and the plugs are not very good, so... I've shone a torch up the exhaust pipe and it is a bit coolanty. You can hear that it's got a miss. It's not a valve problem though. If I shove the camera on the ground, I don't know if you'll see any crap coming out of the exhaust, but you do get some. You can also see that it's or hear that it misses quite badly when you boot it. So yeah. Don't know what to think. Doesn't blow any oil smoke, and it's done about 300,000 Ks. Everything works properly, the ABS works, stuff like that. But it idles a lot quicker than it should. Like, even after it warms up, it's sort of, no, if I turn this bloody radio off. Like, you know, it sort of doesn't idle below 1,000 much, and it's supposed to idle at like 550. You can see that it's funny and idles all over the joint. So, I don't know what it's detecting as a abnormal condition, but anyway. Like, everything works properly, except when you put it in gear, it does slam into gear slightly, but it's because the idle's so bloody high. Like, even when the car's at normal operating temperature, it still idles at like 900 RPM, 950. It's been serviced regularly, like the transmission's been serviced. I don't know, probably not by these people again, because it's whatever, but... so yeah, it's a diamond in the rough. I'm more likely to do a head gasket, or VRS set, anyway, because, you know, it'll eliminate the problem of the inlet manifold gasket blowing, because they do those. And if you're going to take the inlet manifold off and all that, you might as well take the heads off too. I don't think it needs an engine rebuild or anything, and well, maybe I'll save up in the long term to actually do some kind of a performance build. Can be done cheaper than you'd think, because these cars, the bits are cheap, even the performance parts. For example, if you're after serious performance, a set of H-beam conrods you can buy for $600, which is a lot cheaper than the V8 ones. But yeah, you can buy the parts, but the standard rods, there's nothing wrong with them. The standard conrods are good for a bit of performance. Most of the standard bits in these engines are actually pretty good anyway. Obviously bearings and pistons, maybe you could upgrade them to something better if you're after performance, but I'll keep you guys posted. I might even include a photo in this video of the spark plugs, or one of them, that you can fit a 10-cent piece neatly between the centre and ground electrodes. The transmission's been serviced regularly because the fluid's a nice colour. Interestingly, this thing's got push-on hoses on here, which is not what a VS is meant to have, so I don't know if it's standard or not. Not sure if someone's cut the lines or what. But I think this has got a vacuum leak. That's why it's running like shit. So I'm going to take this engine cover off if it doesn't rain, which, as you can see, is pretty likely to rain. I'll take the engine cover off. Normally these things never have it on when it's my car. So I'll take the cover off. Might be never going back on again, I don't know. And I'll have a look and see if I can see a vacuum leak, because it just sounds like it's got one. The vacuum's low and the idle's high, and that normally means vacuum leak in these things. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and I mean, it's got a couple of scratches, and you'd expect that with a car that's 20 years old. What you wouldn't expect with a car that's 20 years old is nice shiny paintwork, which it does have, even though you can see that it's filthy. It's definitely dirty, but it's really not bad. You got to check out the screws that they use to put these speakers in. Like, one of the screws is 100mm long. Like, no, I'm running out of time. Running out of memory. But this screw is like, look how long it is. It's just ridiculous. So that's how not to install speakers anyway. Use spacers for frig's sakes. They're not even expensive. Or make some spacers out of MDF and use a jigsaw. Jigsaw, $20. I mean, by the time you make it, you might as well just buy spacers. Why the hell would you cut up speaker mount brackets? Like, don't cut a car up to fit speakers in. I don't care who you are or what your qualifications are. If you're not an engineer, don't chop cars up. It's just pretty simple, really. But I keep working on cars, or buying cars that people cut up. Now, the bracket's only spot welded on and pretty easy to replace, but it's a lot of stuffing around just to do that.